in his pickleball bag. Looks like it.
One of America's great athletes.
It's on his pickleball paddle.
You want to change something on him?
No. Are you?
No, I just want to make sure you got your
Yeah.
shot. Just checking on you.
Yeah, I'm going to play pickleball before I go to the game.
I'm in a pickle.
I'm more in a pickle than I was thinking.
We are
We're
on
live.
now, so you're welcome to start, Mayor.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Please join me in bringing forward Pastor Rachel Danner for our invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for your guidance, your love, and your presence with us. Lord, we ask that as we are called to be your servant leaders in this world, that we can follow you where you are leading, that we can discern your purpose for this community and for these people. Help us to know how best to serve, how best to follow you, and how best to bring your kingdom into this world. Lord, all these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pastor. Tina, if you would please call the roll.
Can we call the meeting to order?
What?
You need to call the meeting to order.
Oh, I did not call the meeting to order. I am so sorry. I now call the meeting to order. All right, now, Tina, if you could please call the roll.
Mayor Young,
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Present?
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Now we will open up for public forum. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for information purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. We will open the public forum now.
Plotting about coming in the door. Maybe not.
Okay. All right. We will close the public hearing in 3. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Okay, 3, 2, 1, we are closed. All right. Next, we will have the consent agenda by Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. We have 4 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is to authorize the minutes of the March 2nd, 2026 City Commission meeting. Second is to authorize city staff to proceed with the collaborative International Forest of Friendship Road reconstruction project as described, which includes a materials budget of $110,000, of which all expenditures will be paid for by the International Forest of Friendship. So we've agreed to the labor for that project, and they'll be paying us back for the materials. Third is approve the occupational license for Jerry's again, contingent upon issuance of the Kansas Alcohol Beverage Control Division liquor license. And the fourth is to authorize the purchase of a police patrol vehicle from Davis Moore Dodge at a cost of $40,484. This would require an expenditure of $7,440.44 from the ERP, in addition to the insurance settlement being made by the insurance company. We discussed this briefly last week. It will be less expensive for us to replace that police vehicle than try to fix it up. So,
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Westhoff on the consent agenda?
How'd that price compare with the price they gave us on the last bid on those cars?
they're the same. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were the low bid on those as well.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we accept the Consent agenda as printed. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. We are on to new business with Resolution 3443, Legal Services Contract related to PFAS litigation. Mr. Westhoff?
So a little background here. Some people may have known if you follow the news. In 2025, a couple large companies in the United States settled several lawsuits regarding the production and release of PFAS into the municipal drinking water system throughout the country. Those settlements total over $13 billion, and they're to be paid out to municipal utility water providers who can show that they have PFAS, which are these forever chemicals that people talk about, in their source water that they receive. So this firm, Stag Louisa, is representing municipal water utility providers in those settlement claims. They reached out to the city and said that other municipalities along the Missouri River have tested high for those in their source water and asked us, how has your testing been? Well, from KDHE's side and from the city side, we only test the finished water. That's the water coming out of our treatment plant. Good news there is that our water has tested consistently low for these PFAS. However, because they said we are on the Missouri River and other cities have tested high on the source side, you can still receive indemnification from these settlements if your source water is high, even if you're properly treating it to remove the PFAS, because that testing is a little more expensive, or that treatment is a little more expensive than you might do if you didn't have any PFAS in your water. And so we are looking at entering into this services contract with the law firm to represent us in the settlement claims. It would include testing our source water, and then if the source water has high PFAS, then they'll advise us on the next steps to move forward with a possible settlement. Those settlement dollars, anything we receive, the law firm would receive a contingency fee. We don't pay them anything up front or anything out of the city budget. And anything that's left could go right into our water utilities budget, reducing the cost of those services.
Okay.
Any questions?
All right. So what you said was that the PFAS on our side of things, we test the water after it's treated consistently low. This is just water previous to our treatment of the water.
Correct.
Okay.
What does that PFA stand for? I can't remember.
Polyfluoroalkyl substances. Clinton, do you have any other background on those? They've been in the news. They're called, people call them forever chemicals. You can treat for them. I think part of the reason they're called forever chemicals is it takes a very long time for them to break down in the environment. And so they get into source water, and then, they've been shown to potentially be harmful. Again, the good news is we are sufficiently treating for these. The cost to continue sufficiently treating for them is higher than if they weren't in the water, which is why we could possibly stand to receive a settlement if the source water is high.
What is their fee? They get a percentage?
They get a contingency fee,
How
yes.
much is that?
I believe it's 30%. It's 1/3, yeah.
Vice Mayor?
Two things. You said that if we test high,
Mm-hmm.
so
There's parameters outlined in the settlement or in the lawsuits for what would count as high or low, and the firm that we've been speaking with has all of those details.
you test the water prior to going through our system.
Correct. We would go down to our water intake at the river, and we would test it there and send it in, and then that would be compared against their chart.
So they get their expenses, and then what's left after the expenses, they get a third? Is that the way that works?
No,
Whatever the winning.
the expense, yes.
Expenses out first, and then they get net.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? Concerns? Okay. If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize city staff to hire Hydrodyne Engineering to
Nope,
rebuild.
excuse me, that's the wrong.
Oops, I'm
that's the
so
wrong item.
sorry, I am reading the wrong one. I'm
Number
sorry,
one
we're on
there.
number one. Okay, so we have moved and seconded that we approve Resolution 3443, authorizing the city manager to execute the legal services agreement with Stag Liuza LLC. Are there any questions? Okay, if not, we're ready to vote. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. McNamee, North Headworks Bar Screen Rebuild.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, so the North Headworks is our sewer facility located down at 4th Street, kind of between the old Tabs building and the end of the bridge. This is kind of where objects and debris are separated out of the sewer stream ahead of going down to the treatment plant to protect the equipment downstream, like such as pumps. Part of the facility are 3 what we call bar screens, and they are a conveyor belt style machine that has a track with rakes on it that they're oriented vertically. They go down into a sewer channel that flows by, and it catches things like bags and other solids, and then that gets deposited into an auger, which ultimately puts it into a dumpster. And those were installed in '98. We've never had them rebuilt before, and it's in the budget and CIP to do one a year for the next 3 years. This would be the first one. They're in there budgeted for $75,000 each. The manufacturer is the one who does this, so this is not something that we necessarily get bids for on that component of it. And the manufacturer is Hydrodyne Engineering. It's a Florida company, and they have a not to exceed cost of $69,311.25. And then, but they do not do the removal or installation of the equipment. So then we had to get quotes for that part of it, and we got one from a Topeka company called CAS Construction, who quoted us $11,725 to do that. And the total brings it to $81,036.25. And then I'm also asking for $1,000 in change order authority for the removal and installation component of it, just in case they encounter any difficulties with that.
Okay, did
So
you,
the installation removal people, they specifically do these, or are they novice?
They don't, that's not all that they do. It's a construction company, but I don't know that, I mean, if you kind of look at that, it's disconnecting electrical, it's unbolting it from the concrete, and they'll use a crane or something like that to get it up. This is all underground, and there's a hatch that they can bring it up out of.
We can't do that ourselves somehow. It looks like it's just disconnecting and reconnecting.
We probably wouldn't do the electrical ourselves. I don't know that our little truck-mounted crane would be enough to pull that out of there or not. Usually that crew likes to do things, as many of the things that they can do on their own without contracting it out, so I think that would be something specialized enough that warrants the
Isn't there a
contracted
chain hoist
service.
steel down there above that facility?
I think there are rings up in the ceiling. I don't know that there's a track down there. I don't think there's a track with a hoist on it. But I think there are rings to get it, to bring in something to do that.
Would you have any idea what the cost of a new piece of equipment is?
I don't know.
I would have interest in that before we get to the next budget.
if I had to, I mean, I'm just guessing, just based on what other things cost that are similar to that, it wouldn't surprise me if it was twice as much, at least, to buy a new one. It'll be like new once it's refurbished. And what they'll do is they'll take it back to their plant, go through it all, let us know what they recommend to fix now, or maybe it's got life left in it, and we'll have to okay all the items that they deem to be worthy of replacement now. So, but the idea is to completely go through it. It'll function as a new unit.
So this bid is just the maximum it could be if everything was wrong?
For the Hydrodyne component,
Yes.
the other part, the CAS construction, that's what it'll be. That's the,
Yes, as a not to exceed bid, we're hopeful that it might, come in under that top dollar amount as well. I mean, who knows since 1998, but this will also give us a little better idea. If it comes in where they had to replace almost everything, then we'll have a really good idea for next year's as well.
So you can have one of these gone and the plant still functions, all right?
yeah, there's three of them right in a row. You can see it in that photo. That creates some redundancy for us.
Okay, I see. So it's not a problem with one down. You have two others. Okay.
So is the thing malfunctioning now, or is this
Yeah, I went down there and looked at it with the
one of the?
sewer superintendent. It's working,
Yeah.
but the guides have gotten so worn out that the track's loose, and you can sit there and watch it, and it'll, I don't want to say kink up, but the track's not right, and then you can tell by the electrical or the motors that they got on the blue motors right there. There's something that catches and twists that motor. So before something, I don't want to say catastrophic, but catastrophic to that unit happens, we're trying
So
to get
there's
that
one of them
one.
that's a little worse than the others.
Then that's the one that we're going for, so.
Worst case scenario, we're about 6,000 over budget.
Yep. And we can, as long as other things don't keep piling up on us, we can adjust
Sure.
our annual programs to compensate for that, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do you get any other bids from anybody to take it out, or is this?
There was
two
one
bids.
other company, RS Mechanical. I don't recall where they were out of, but they bid $18,496 to do that.
They did what? I'm sorry.
They bid $18,496 to do that.
RNS is down there from what, Valley Falls down there?
I don't recall now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. If not, I would entertain a motion.
So move.
All right.
We go forward.
Okay, I will second it. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or concerns? Okay, if not, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize city staff to hire Hydrodyne Engineering to rebuild one bar screen at North Hedgeworks in the amount of $69,311.25, and CAS Construction for bar screen removal and installation services in the amount of $11,725, including a change order authority of $1,000 for the removal and installation of services. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. McNamee. And I believe you are still up for the Amelia Earhart Airport.
Okay. So as we all know, the project's experienced quite a bit of delay. And as such, the prime contractor on that project has submitted a change order request to compensate them for the delays that weren't necessarily, well, they were not at the fault of the prime contractor. It was due to the utility relocation, more specifically the petroleum pipeline relocation aspect of it. So kind of, I put it in the report, all the little timeline details, but essentially, this project, the runway contractor bid this in summer of '23, And here we are in, 2026, and obviously material costs, labor costs, things like that have changed since then for a project that was originally kind of conceived of to be done within a year. Here we are. So initially, their change order request, which we received late last summer, was significantly higher than the amount that's proposed tonight. The amount proposed tonight is $1,499,000, of which we have sufficient congressionally directed funding, we applied for that CDS funding to help us with the utility relocation costs, and there is enough left on that amount to cover 90% of this change order request. So that leaves $149,900 for the 10% local match. However, there were previous authorizations, such as the payment to the pipeline company that the commission's already approved, and that actual cost came in considerably less than what we pre-approved, and we were actually refunded. I think it was a total of $700,000 between design and construction. However, the $300,000 I think was the component that is on this particular grant with the CDS funding. And I say all that to say that if you factor that in, the additional cost above what we've already approved would be closer to, I think it's $34,140. Yes.
Yep.
And so I would ask, the reason we're bringing it to you tonight is just timeliness. The FAA would still need to, technically our consultant needs to review the documentation that we're expecting to come along with this change order request. And then ultimately the FAA needs to review it and approve it. So I am asking for approval to move forward with this contingent upon FAA review and approval of getting the 90% funding.
And the reason we want to get that approval now is when those documents come through from the contractor, when the engineer approves it and when the FAA approves it, we want it to be able to start right away so that they can't say that the city was holding them back in any way. When our share is this ultimately around $34,000.
Like I said,
always
technically
wondered about this.
it's
Design deck or-
149.
Yes, I understand.
But overall, it's 34
More.
more than what
than
we've
what's been
already
approved
expected. So
Was Zydecker aware of the fact that we had to change the pipelines before this all started?
No, they were not aware of it at the time of the bid. That came in after the fact.
the original plan, the utilities were known.
We were aware of the pipeline of not rerouting it.
Right.
The original plan was to
That's
still
right.
have it
They
go
were gonna
under the
put it
runway.
in a Tube or something.
They were just going to replace that section. That section was in a low, like a valley, and so the runway was going to add 30 feet of fill on top of it. And so they wanted to replace that with a new, because that pipeline was probably like, I think it was 1960s or 70s vintage, and they wanted to replace it just to have it new, and then also with a thicker walled pipe for that section. And because of Magellan got bought out by ONEOK, and that delayed some legal review stuff on their end. At the same time, we were applying for CDS funding to help with utility relocation costs. And then by the time that they gave us a thumbs up on those agreements, it was right at the same time that we got news that we got the CDS funding to completely relocate. And so we opted for the relocation to route that pipeline around the runway instead of under it, because the FAA had already made us agree to, if the runway ever got disturbed by pipeline activity, that it's all on the city to fix that. Like, you guys built on top of a pipeline, it's your problem, kind of a way. So in the long run, rerouting around the runway is the best, I think, for all parties. Gas company doesn't want to have to deal with the runway. We don't want to have to deal with, you know, a utility under a runway, and the FAA doesn't want to help fund that either. So, but it did cause delays to the contractor for the runway, and
But
So
that
that's where we're
pipeline
at.
put in the early 50s?
it's been a while since I looked at those original easements that the pipeline had sent, but in my mind it was 60s, like late 60s when they were buying up, and some of it was eminent domain that they used to get those easements, but I've got late 60s, early 70s on my brain.
Any other questions?
So given approval here for the additional funding, FAA has to buy into it. IDECR has to say, give us a date they're gonna come and start.
I mean, as of right now, they have still, the date that they said they're coming back hasn't been changed, but they haven't confirmed it recently either, that they would be back next month to get going with it.
That'll be your April 2026.
Correct. But again, we want to have our side of it approved so that when those other steps happen, they can just,
And you
Get
have
the
an
yes.
approximate length of time to finish,
The
to finish.
the latest construction timeline that they've given us was to start to remobilize in April and finish by late June. So, and that's probably with some contingency in there.
and then the FAA has-
Unofficially, I hear that once they get going, it'll be a fast process, but that's all contingent upon weather and things that we don't necessarily know. But
Which would get you done before Amelia Earhart.
Well, I don't, that's not saying the airport will be open by then, but the construction will be done. Because the FAA still has to do their set of testing after the runway is open and set up their, all of their parameters and their, what am I thinking of? On the actual runway, the guidance and numbering and make all of that stuff. So that can take some time too. That's gonna be on their timeline. But the construction side.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Okay. All right. If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we authorize the change order request by IDECR in the amount of $1,499,000 for increased cost of the runway project due to delays with utility relocation, contingent upon confirmation by the FAA, and 90% of the change order cost will be federally funded. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Mr. Westhoff, informational items, as we don't have any communications.
Thank you, commissioners. So the first thing in there for informational items are your February 26 financials. I wanted to draw attention to two things in there.
Yes.
The first being on the first page, that the first 2 months of the year, sales tax collections are up 16%. That's something to keep an eye on, that they're above our projections for 2026. And the second item to point out is going to be on page 62, or at the very end of the main meeting packet. I just wanted to point out that we made the payment to Atchison County for the new tipping or dump fees, and the total there is that monthly payment, $14,403. So I'm just pointing that out, as I know there's been a lot of discussion about the city's cost on this and the fee that we implemented. That $4 per customer on the trash side does not cover this full amount. So the city is still covering a portion of this. But I just wanted to point
Is
out
that for
that
1 month or 2 months?
that is 1 month, I believe. That is 1 month.
So multiply that times 12, that's around $170,000.
Correct. Just wanted to point that out.
Twitch.
Okay.
No, how
Yeah.
much of that would have been for recycle?
I could break that down for you,
Okay, so-
but it's not
Not a
it's
huge part.
not a significant percentage of it.
I already checked that. I think the recycle's like 3%.
3%, yeah.
total-
It's very low
Total,
of the cost, yeah.
because it, the weight of the
Mm-hmm.
recycle is.
Considerably lower, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then I have just a couple items. I know we have a land bank meeting after this, and then we have the special joint meeting with Atchison County and the school district to go over the proposed neighborhood revitalization plan over at Memorial Hall at 6 p.m. Couple notes on some items that have come through the commission meetings before. The pipe coating that you approved at the water treatment plant should be finished tomorrow. And we are working to get a tour scheduled for you guys too, so I'll be reaching out about that. Additionally, you approved those new CSO flow monitors that KDHE requires of us in a handful of our storm pipes. Those are being installed tomorrow as well, or they're starting to be. We completed the final walkthrough at LFM Park for those improvements, and we've arranged for the seeding to take place. So that project will be done as soon as that seeding's done, and that splash pad will be open up this summer. Patriot Street Bridge, they are finishing up the curb and sidewalk on that, and then just waiting for the asphalt plants to open for the year, and then they'll get it paved and reopened. And then I just wanted to give one little informational item as well. On the budget and the finance side for 2025, I will have a more in-depth report as we put this stuff together, but the year ends on December 31st, but you're able to code purchases that, they were made in 2025 and then being paid for in early 26. And now that period is over, so we're reconciling the end of 2025. And I'm just reporting to you guys that we are projecting to be over $300,000 under budget on the general fund for 2025.
Congratulations.
Well, you too, you're part of that as well, so.
Your management.
Question about between 14th and 15th,
Yeah,
the alley,
yes,
is that part of the CSO
that is the water main.
water?
That's the last phase of the water main replacement project. Yeah. We will have a CSO project going in that same area this summer, hopefully this summer,
It won't overlap that alley.
but it will be on 15th Street area, but it won't overlap that alley.
How are we going to gravel it, blacktop it? I mean,
The plans called for asphalt, however, the contractor, for a reason I don't quite follow, they asked us if it would be okay to go back with full concrete. And we said, okay, so it's gonna be concrete. So, for the same
Who's
price,
your contractor, you recall?
main line.
And that concrete would be their expense?
Well, I don't know if it actually will be additional cost for them, but to us, it's the same cost as if it were asphalt.
That's that company out of, out here, South Atchison County,
Bison?
West Atchison County.
My guess might be that they're foreseeing that they're gonna get possibly done before asphalt plants
Yeah.
get going, and so just a guess, I don't know that. But there's other parts of the project, like on 12th Street and Mound Drive, where there's still some asphalt that needs to be patched in those. There will be asphalt still involved.
Mhm.
And then also, we've been getting some calls, good opportunity to explain this if anybody's watching it. In those areas, Bellevue Drive, Mound Drive, and then ultimately this 1400 block alley. Some of the areas have settled that are out in the turf areas. And prior to the finish of this project, the contractor will go back through and level any of those up and do the grading and seeding to finish that. But reach out if after that happens, it's still continue to have problems. I'll let everybody know to call City Shop.
Did you ever get a chance to check in that thing I asked about why we're using that copper pipe from the main line to the meters?
Yes.
What was the reason? Was there just an old
it's-
guy doing it, or what?
It wasn't a, like a we have to type of situation. It was the rigidity that comes with the copper pipe to kind of hold that meter, I forget the term for that, but the cradle that comes up and holds the meter in place. That was the only feedback that I got, was that the copper kind of offers some additional support for that.
I think that's something we could look into, updating to plastic in the future, I think. I don't see what.
Well, they were also, I mean, that was part of their scope of work that they bid on.
Right.
So they were the low bid for
Yeah.
that project, even
I
with,
just asked him
so,
when I was out there, why are you using copper? And he said, well, the specs called for it. Why?
well, that's their specs, but
Right.
that's not,
It was a bid, specs they bid on.
our specs did not call for copper there, did it?
I would imagine that it did.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I did.
I just
So
misspoke.
we will be, this year, we should be starting to think about design for the next set of water main
Yeah.
things. And so that'll be a discussion that we'll have.
Yeah,
And,
it's worth
take a look
looking
at
at,
it.
I think. Because there's, I forget what he said the cost was. Tremendous difference between copper and plastic. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I think
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Westhoff. All right, at this time, we will have any comments from our commissioners. Commissioner Greenlee?
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor?
It's good to hear we're 300K under budget and sales tax numbers are up, so that's better
Congratulations.
than the alternative.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Commissioner Slattery?
I'd just restate, like Mr. Wilcox said, we appreciate the staff's efforts in getting that done. Great.
Excellent. Commissioner Murphy?
I have nothing.
Okay, all right, very good. I echo the praise for the city staff and certainly ensuring that we are fiscally responsible. I just have one update. I was pleased to join our Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Jill Thorne, and then also our Representative Alan Rivas. On Thursday, we went down and I spoke on behalf of a House Bill 2481, which Representative Rivas, that was his original bill. As the bill moved through the House, there was some language that was inserted that was not favorable to Atchison, and so I was able to speak on our behalf in the Senate. And I understand from Representative Rivas that the bill will be worked in the Commerce Committee tomorrow. We had originally gotten information that it would be worked today, but it's going to be worked tomorrow. So hopefully that language will be fixed. It's just a simple issue of accommodation broker. The definition should be one or more bedrooms, not 3 bedrooms or more. One or more will capture more for us regarding the transient guest tax. I won't speak for the Senate, but we're hopeful that that change will be made and that Atchison will be the better for it. So with that,
Thank you for being there for that.
oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was eye-opening and it was interesting, both things. So thank you. So at that, I would accept motion to adjourn. Is there such a motion? All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Couple minutes for Pat to get back, and then we can do land bank.
Okay.